Thank you for tuning in to another episode of How Did You Get There, the podcast where it's all about the journey. It's about the twists and turns that have brought people to where they are right now. Today I have with me Keisha Schahaff, and Keisha is a health and life coach. She is a mother of two beautiful girls, and she's also the first mother-daughter duo from the Caribbean to ever venture into outer space. Now, Keisha, that is pretty fantastic. You have people who've never left the country where they're from, and you've left Earth and made it to outer space. Literally.
Literally. It's such a pleasure to meet you, Phoebe, and thank you so much for inviting me here with you today to view with your audience and to just speak with you a little bit. This has really been a dream for me from since as a little girl. From the first memory that I have really as a child, I've always been fascinated with this life. Why are we here? What's our purpose? How can I get up there? It's almost like this feeling like we're not just from Earth, but we're also from the skies as well. And so I just wanted to know, how can I know more about this? My grandfather used to tell me so much tales of space and the first man that went to the moon. I'm like, really? There was someone that went to the moon? That means I can get up there too. But not realizing where I'm from, we're so limited here in the Caribbean. Who would have ever thought that a Caribbean woman would have gone to space? And I've just been lucky because I had what on my side? I had luck on my side. So it was more than just my efforts, really. It was basically just being in the right place, the right time, the right alignment that caused me to have this experience to have gone to space, and even more lucky that I got to bring my daughter with me. So that's super fantastic. And having that support from my nation, Antigua and Barbuda. But not only that, the Caribbean gave me support, and also from the Black community and women as well, Black women, being amongst the 6th and 7th Black women to have gone to space ever. I think that's just fantastic to show the movement of women as well, but also it's really just luck on my end.
Do you think it's luck though? Because you're saying, you feel really lucky, but as a child, I never thought about space. My dreams were more or less right here, tethered to Earth. Do you think this was something that you are lucky to have had experienced, or do you think in some way you were destined to make it to space?
So that's really a mystery, a question that really, it depends on your belief, your personal belief. I believe in manifestation. I believe in the acts of God. I believe in, the goodwill that you do inside, the work that you do inside of yourself. It just clears away all the blocks inside of you and just puts you in alignment with where the universe is guiding you. And if we're full of all this fear, we're filled with all this limitation inside of us and traumas and blockages, then I believe that some of this holds us back to really fulfilling our destiny, or, just this veil that just holds us back from really fulfilling our purpose. I'm not saying going to space is my only purpose, but it's an opening door towards where the universe is guiding me and taking me towards. And when I was younger, I didn't have the mindset with all of these different limitations. I didn't learn the way that others did. I had a different superpower, and my superpower was in creativity and wherever I put my focus. So I didn't have the grades to say I would go and be a scientist and go that long route, and really long route where I see people are studying so hard and being trained with NASA. And it's not even guaranteed that you would get to go to space even. So, for me, it was just being in the right place at the right time and believing in myself that I entered this lottery. And I said, if it was meant to be, then it will happen. And it just happened. So,
there are a couple of things I want to unpack there, though, because you spoke. So I'm going to have to jot down my notes because sometimes my memory kind of fails me, right? And I don't want to forget where I want to go with this. But you continue to speak about purpose. You've mentioned purpose twice since we've been on this, since we've been having this conversation. What do you think you've defined your purpose? What is your purpose here?
I'm still seeking to know what the purpose really is. But I'm hoping that the universe will open it up and I will see exactly what it is. So it's not just going on my own desire. Because after all, we're just this human, right? So many times we think that this should be our purpose. This is what I want. But then it's something higher than that. And it's just being open to, the guidance of that which is greater is where it's leading you. So I'm just keeping myself open to see where that will be and just being led by my heart. And so far, I've always been such a curious person wanting to know why are we here? What is the desire of the creator that orchestrated all of this? Was the creator just bored? Or is it going to lead to something much more? So I'm just here on a discovery and just observing as I go by. But at the same time, the deeper I can go into myself and unveiling inside of myself is the more I can inspire and help other people as well. That they know that, hey, you're not fixed in any one place in this world, this is where you are. Yes, I'm a mother, but I'm not just fixed as a mother. I can be so much more than just a mother. Or if I'm working as a baker or whatever the example is, I'm more than just that. I'm everything together. From being in this amongst the stars, I could see and feel that we're all interconnected. We're all a part of this great whole. So even if we're just individual, just making our way in this big, vast existence, we're still a part of everything. And that's what makes us big. So I'm not limiting myself to say that this is one area of my purpose. What I'm trying to say is that it opens you deeper to seeing what more can I do in this life? How much more can I help other people, or even myself? So like the deeper I go into myself, it's the more I can open up and be there for other people as well.
Yeah. You also mentioned the lottery and how, and lottery always, it's a game of chance. But tell us more about that lottery that brought you on that journey to space.
So I've been speaking a lot about, I really want to go to space. Some people think it's a joke, but I'll be like, even if it's the aliens come down and beam me up, I'm ready. I want to.
You want to be one of those that get
I just want to be, I just want to be in the energy of the universe, the energy of the cosmos, and just not just look at our planet, but I actually wanted to be able to be in that technology where we can move around and discover what else is out there, what more is there. We can't just be the only things out there. And I'm not just talking about our galaxy or where we have the different planets here. I'm talking about how can we get outside of that and see what else is there. So I've always had this curious mindset. But then I started working on myself when I became a coach, because I kind of felt like no matter what I was doing in this world, whatever job I was doing, because I did worked in so many different avenues, but I always wanted more. It was never enough for me. So I felt like something is holding me back, limited in myself. So that's where I became a coach, and I started my healing journey, doing a lot of shadow work and really discovering who I really am, which I'm still working on. And because I started clearing so many layers of myself, I started seeing the possibility to having my dreams. I said I didn't know how I was going to get it, but I'm going to go up there one day and be amongst the stars and become an astronaut. I'm going to do it. And then one day when I was taken, just in the time of COVID, when the flights were limited and everything was just weird on our planet, and my daughter was going off to university and we needed to take her to Barbados to get her visas together that she could become a student in Scotland. There was no flights. There was no Caribbean flights that would take me from Antigua to Barbados. It's just a 1-hour flight. But the only thing that was available was a Virgin Atlantic flight that takes me from Antigua all the way to London, 8 hours. Then to sit and wait 8 hours on the ground for the next flight that would take us from London
all the way back to
Barbados. So for all those hours, more than a day, we were traveling just to get across to a 1-hour flight. So I said to myself, there has to be a reason for this. And I just trusted in the universe with that. And on that second leg of the flight, going from London to Barbados, is when the ad popped up on the entertainment screen. on my entertainment screen and said, "Would you like to go to space and become an astronaut?" That's
And
when
you thought, yes, definitely.
that's when I saw Richard Branson on this ad as an Omaze ad, and it popped up just before the movie started. And I said, this has to be from the universe. And I saw that as a miracle. And I said, I'm going to apply for this. And I just applied. And usually I'm not very good with technology and logging in for the internet and all of that, but it just all worked out. It was almost like I was in a trance, and I just did everything that was meant to do. And then I just forgot about it after doing it. It's not like I harassed myself or was in any anxiety and worrying, am I going to win this thing? I just left it alone. And to my surprise, just a few weeks later, I started getting emails from Omaze and saying that you're lucky top 20 finalists. And I needed to fill out some stuff. I'm like, to be honest, that was enough for me, because I never gambled in my life. I never did anything like this. And just to hear your top 20, I thought that was a miracle on its own. And then from that, they said, your top 5 finalists, you need to fill out this thing and whatever. We're going to send a gift to the top 5 finalists, so we need your address. So I sent them my address, and then they said that they want to do a film production with me on when I'm opening this gift. So they're going to do a time that the gift is coming and blah, blah, blah. So
And at that point, did you suspect anything? Because
I didn't
suspect
anything.
They're coming to film you opening a gift.
They weren't coming to Antigua to film me. They were going to film me on Zoom. So they were going to send the gift to me. So I was like, okay, maybe the gift is going to come at this time or whatever. But I never saw the gift. But we did the Zoom meeting, and then they said they're having a connection problem and they're going to call me back. So I'm seated there waiting for them to call me back. But that's when Richard Branson walked into my house and said, "Surprise, you won. You're going to space."
Well, Keisha, pause right there, because the first thing you're thinking when Richard Branson walks in your house, you know, Caribbean people, you're thinking, oh my gosh, is my house clean? Did I put everything away? Did you have that moment as well?
I didn't even have my grass cut. My grass was like a jungle.
Wow.
My grass was like a jungle. My dishes wasn't even washed. And he just walks inside of my house, and I'm apologizing, and they're like, it's okay, everything is fine, we don't care. I was like,
wow.
If I knew you were coming, I would at least have some tea prepared for you or something, you know?
Something, yeah. So bring me back to that time. What was that feeling when you recognized that you'd won?
I was so shocked. I was extremely shocked because, again, I've never won anything. I never had this type of attention. I never even thought, okay, I thought I wanted to go to space and I thought I wanted to win this thing. But I didn't think that it would have come with such drama and such attention. I didn't think that far. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to secretly just go up to space and come back. Nobody's going to know anything.
You make reference to the drama and attention, and we definitely are going to have to touch on that. So after hearing, though, that you're going to space, how do you prepare for that?
The preparation was actually very pleasant, but I had to prepare myself mentally for that, because going to space was not the issue for me. It was, how am I going to show up to the public, and the nerves, because it's not easy on the nerves to openly speak with people, and you feel kind of like everything that you say is going to be looked at very very much intensely, and everything that you do is also going to be looked at very intensely. And how can I get over this shyness within myself and my mindset and all of that I can show up and be there for people, not really care about what people are thinking anymore. So I put myself on a pilgrimage where the first thing I did, I bought a ticket and I went to India. And I had my little backpack and I went to visit all the temples that I could, traveling all over India, from the Himalayas, going on hikes in the Himalayas, 2-day hikes, spending the night in a tent up in the mountains, visiting different gurus, different temples, going to Varanasi, making peace with death, because it's now a chance. Anything can happen. And I wanted to make sure I made peace with death. So I went to the most holy place that, that death is concerned. So I went to India in Varanasi, the town of Varanasi, where they would burn the bodies there and all of that. I made peace with that. I went to Sadhguru's ashram in the south of India, so I can make peace with myself as well. So when I was finished with this entire pilgrimage, I felt so blessed and I felt so at peace. I was like, okay, now I'm ready for this. I'm ready to face the public. I'm ready to face the flight. I'm ready to face whatever comes with this. And also the positives, because you could come out of this with such good future as well. So whatever is to come, I'm ready for it. And then we went through the training now with Virgin Galactic, with readiness training, which was amazing. Meeting the team, meeting everybody to do with Virgin Galactic, the people who built the spaceship and the technology and all of that. And just being told what to expect, safety equipment and how it's going to feel when you go to space, how they went through every single detail. They didn't leave anything out. So the training was pretty amazing. And then working along with Space for Humanity, because the lottery that I entered was actually a fundraiser for nonprofit Space for Humanity, who are also sending people to space. The funding didn't come from Space for Humanity. It came directly from Virgin Galactic for my tickets. But the fundraiser, the benefits of the fundraiser went towards Space for Humanity so they can continue sending people to space, which is amazing. So working with them as an ambassador, bringing awareness to their cause and what they're doing, that was also amazing because they put me through some media training as well, and also their Citizen Astronauts program training too, where they're developing leaders who will go out there and basically speak for Earth, speak for planet Earth. Yeah. So that was beautiful, working along with them as well, being trained by them. So the whole training was just really, really good. It really prepared me for what I was about to face.
Yeah. And what about physically? Did you have to go through any training or anything to ensure that physically you'd be able to manage the different environments? Because I'm not even sure, how do you prepare outside of that kind of I'm an ambassador piece?
So you definitely have to pass the FAA certification, where it's very strict that you are fit, you maintain a certain level of fitness within your heart, that you can handle those big boosts, that speed, because you're going at the speed of sound. And so yes, you are doing your own training. Like every day I'm doing cardio anyway. I'm doing yoga, I'm doing cardio, I'm doing hiking. I go diving as well. So these are practices I was doing before the space flight, before knowing I was going into space. So it was good that I was doing all of this, because that prepared me to have a level of fitness within myself that I could pass the medical examination.
Okay.
So that was good. So if you don't pass the medical examination, you won't go to space.
That's interesting, because if we're thinking about even space travel being something that the average human will one day be able to embark on, does that mean that if I'm really not quite healthy, I'm poorly, physically, I'm not where I need to be, does it mean that might be an inhibitor to me probably going to space?
I think it will be an inhibitor. And if they say no, then you still won't make it anyway, because if your heart can't handle the boost,
yes. Well, it's a good thing I've started going to the gym, Keisha. I'll be going to space. I'll make it on. So
exactly.
You've also spoken about the drama and the attention. How did you manage that? Was there anything that stands out to you that was quite difficult in having that scrutiny on you when you were announced as the winner and that you're going to be on board Virgin Galactic and embarking on this new experience?
So that was definitely all in my mind. That was just an imagination because there was definitely no drama with any of that. It was just me going ahead because you don't know what you're going to expect. And, sometimes we can exaggerate in our thoughts and all of that. So that taught me that you were worried for nothing because all I got was embraced. I got so much positives. I got so much support from people. People were just genuinely so happy for this experience and for me to share the stories with them. So I've gotten nothing but support. So that all showed me that my fear it's just an illusion. It was just in my mind. And that really taught me with anything inside of this life, don't trust the mind because the mind can really cause you to believe what's not true.
That is true. I think sometimes we create false realities. So this thing doesn't exist, but in our mind we've built things up and we're saying this might happen, this could happen. But actually, that's not the reality. So sometimes it's just stepping away and allowing yourself to experience whatever is coming without those blockages. So Keisha, just in case your daughters are listening, right? Because I have a sister as well. And if my mother were going to space, but she said to me, I'm bringing your little sister, there would be problems. Because we always have those conversations about, who's mommy's favorite today? How did you end up saying, you know what, I'm going to bring my younger daughter? Is it because if you hadn't needed to travel to Barbados for her, then you wouldn't even have been on that Virgin flight? How did you get to that point of saying, you're the daughter that I'm bringing?
So when I became, at that point, I didn't think of bringing anybody when I was on the Virgin flight. I was just looking at for myself because I felt like all my life I've been a mother. I've been a mother since I was like 19 years old. And I've done the work. My children are all grown. My first daughter is 27 now. My younger, she's going to be 20 in a few weeks. And I have done the work. So I thought, now it's time for me. Now my younger daughter is now leaving home. What am I going to do with myself now? And this is where I had the prayer to the universe. And then this is when the ad popped up and said, so I saw that as an answer, like, now is your time to live your dream, right? So I didn't see it from me and my daughter. I saw it from me because she was going off to her dream to university. And so after becoming the top finalist, when they asked me the question, if you were to win this, who would you bring with you to space? And I'm like,
who's it gonna be?
I'm like, who's it going to be? And then I said to my husband, if I was to win this, would you come with me? And he said no. But at the time, he was just being difficult because he's thinking it's all a prank. And if they start asking you he's like, okay, you can entertain this, but if they start asking you for bank details, you just delete this and just forget about it.
Good on him, because he's thinking this could be a massive scam, right? They're not going to scam me.
So he thought it was going to be a scam. So then I'm like, who am I going to ask this now? So I've had a girlfriend. So I said to her, if I was supposed to win this thing, would you come with me? And she says, of course, I've always thought of space, but then it didn't sit right inside of me. Like spirit inside was saying, no, she's not the one for you to come with you. So I started backing up and I said, oh, but you just had a baby. It's not going to be fair because if something was to happen. And
yes, that's true.
And then I spoke to my daughter about it, the younger one. And I said to her, because at this point, we're back in Antigua. We waiting to get the results of the visa. So we're back in Antigua and we were talking about this. And I said to her, I don't know, this thing is going on. And if I was to win this thing, I don't know who I would bring to space with me. And she said to me, Mom, are you kidding me? If you were going to space, I'm going to go with you, nobody else. And then she even said that to my friend. She's like, sorry, if Mommy was to win, you're not going, I'm going. With her antics, she's so sweet, bless her. But because she's always been in science,
Yeah, because she studied at that point astrophysics, isn't it?
She's studying physics and she's studying philosophy. So, but she's changed so much where one time she wants to be a doctor, another, but it's always in science, right? So when she said that to me, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. My older daughter now, she wants to be in the kitchen. She wants to cook. She wants to nurture people and this type of stuff. So that's what she enjoys doing. So it was an easy thing, easy decision. So my older daughter, she's just supportive. She's happy for her sister that she did this. And she said to me, nobody deserves this better than Anna, because Anna really loves science and she's like you with this. That's what she
Yeah.
said to me. So the both of us are very similar.
So you've done all the training. You finally decided who you're going to bring. Usually, so, some people the night before they're going to travel, right? They don't sleep. They have an upset tummy. How were you the night before? Were you really calm and collected, or were you just a nervous wreck? I know which one I would be.
I think I was a combination of both, but it's a very good question. I definitely was a combination of both. Yes, I was calm. I was very happy because finally this is happening. But at the same time, I was very nervous, but not very nervous. I was a little nervous because I'm like, okay, this is actually happening, but it's like an exciting nervous, not like a negative nervous where you're worried. It wasn't a worry nervous. It was like an anxiety nervous. Like, I can't believe this day is coming. I'm so excited for this type of nervous.
Yeah.
Making sure that I would do everything right and everything goes smoothly and all of that. And at the same time, because of that, I didn't sleep very well. So I just slept for a few hours, maybe 2-3 hours. And then I woke up so early, much earlier than the time I was supposed to wake up. So I'm like, I can't get back to sleep. Okay, so I just go take a shower, sit and do my meditation. And then I just went outside and sat outside. One of the things I really love doing is stargazing.
Yes.
And for the time that we were there in New Mexico, there was no stars to be seen in the sky because it was just overcast with this dusty mist in the air, so you couldn't see the stars. But that particular night, when I went outside, it just welcomed me. It was almost like it says, we're ready for you. And I just felt so much peace. So all that anxiety just totally disappeared when I looked up at the sky and I saw all the stars just looking down at me. I just felt such a connection. I felt like, okay, I'm going to go home for a moment and come back to this other home. Because I feel like
Keisha, I'm just having tingles listening to you, because it feels as though in that very moment you almost accepted that this was going to happen and you were ready. It feels as though at that moment, all that preparation, you're like, yes, the calm, the nervous energy is preparing you for this moment. And you looked up and you say, okay, I'll see you soon.
Exactly.
Hollywood has painted this picture of what spaceships look like. So if somebody says to me, spaceship, I'm thinking spherical object. And it's got the bits on top. And I don't know, I expect some kind of beaming. Clearly, it looks nothing like that. Describe for me what that vehicle, for want of a better word, the spaceship that transported you to space, what did that look like from the outside to the interior?
You ever made, when you were a little girl, did you ever make those paper planes? Like you just...
Yes! I even, yeah, absolutely. I think we all did.
So it looks like that. It looks like one of those, the shape of it, like a triangle. But it's a rocket and it has the wing. So the wing looks like it gives it that shape like a triangle. And it's attached to a mothership. And the mothership, they call it Eve, because it's a different technology. It takes you up really high. This particular airplane is designed to take you very high altitudes, higher than a regular commercial flight. So it takes you up to about 45 to 50,000 feet high in the air. And then it releases the space rocket and you air launch. So you're launching from the air instead of launching from the ground. And then when that launches, it just rockets up straight out into space. So you go from 45,000 feet air launch all the way to 290,000 feet in less than a minute. So that was really fast. So you were doing something like 3.54 Gs, going all the way out into space. But it's very comfortable. The seats are so comfy, like cushions, like you're sitting on a car seat, like in your vehicle, how comfortable that is. And each seat is specially designed and built for your body type. And it has a special protection for the neck to hold your neck in place. So when you're going in that boost, your neck is not being thrown back and you could injure yourself. So it's designed to keep you so protected, but at the same time, so comfortable. And then there are windows, little windows all over. So you can look out any window and you can see what's going on as you're flying out into space or being rocketed out into space. And then it's just amazing. Very comfortable.
So Keisha, what's your body doing at that point? And I'll just tell you why I asked this question, right? If you push me in a swing and that swing goes too high, that sensation where it kind of goes up and then down, I will jump out of that swing. If I am on a roller coaster and it's doing those kind of speeds, or I'm not very, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna be that person on the roller coaster screaming and making the most noise. What does your body do? How do you feel when you're being hurtled into outer space at the speed of light, quite literally?
So it's very comfortable. You don't really feel it like that because you're already trained in the G-force flights, how to handle this particular thing. And you're also trained in the classroom, how to prepare your body for that as well. So first of all, you eat very light. So it's not, you don't have all this food in your stomach. And the second thing, you're breathing and you're relaxing. At the same time, you're squeezing your abdomen so that the blood can go up to the head. So when the blood
I'm squeezing my abdomen now, Keisha. I'm doing all of those things.
So when you do that now, you're giving yourself a job to do at the same time. And also you're preventing yourself from passing out from those heavy G's that's hitting your chest because the blood is flowing. So if you lose blood flow, that's when you can pass out. But how it actually feels in the body, once you don't move, you're quite comfortable. But if you start moving when those G's are hitting you, you will get exhausted and you can get tired from that. So because we're already trained with that, we know how to condition ourselves, how to condition our minds. We're looking out the window. We're excited about the mission. So first of all, you won't be sitting there if that's not something you really want to do. And then the second thing is it's very comfortable and there's really nothing to worry about because it's technology that has been being developed for so long, very advanced technology. So you know you're quite safe. But at the same time, because this is something that you so want to do, you already made peace with whatever is. But but you also know that you're coming back safely as well. But again, there's no guarantee to anything.
Yes. And you're looking through the window. What are you seeing?
You're just seeing, you just see the colors change. You see from our blue skies going all the way to black. But because it happens in less than a minute, in just about a minute, it moves so fast that you just suddenly notice that, hey, I'm in space already. And you're like, okay, I'm actually in space. But it's that moment where your mind is not going to the future or to the past. So you're not looking back and thinking what just happened, or you're not looking forward to say, this is what I'm expecting. So
it's just in the moment.
First time ever, you're just so in the moment. And that's where you just, because you're so much in the moment, it's almost like time just stands still and you're just in such awe for the experience that you're actually seeing. So not the experience that you already had or not the experience that you're looking forward to, just the experience that you're seeing right before your eyes. So you're looking at the earth and it's like the earth is looking back at you and you're actually seeing that the earth is floating.
You're looking, you stop it. This is giving me chills because where I'm sitting, I'm looking out and I'm seeing the sky and I'm just imagining that some being is just looking back at me. You're literally looking at the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing kind of, you've got people who say, is the earth flat? Is the earth round? Let's just dispel that. Are you seeing the curve of the earth going around, kind of like a circle?
Curve.
What is it that you're seeing?
You see the whole earth. You see the earth as a ball just floating there, like this orb, this orb, just perfect blue orb that's just floating there. So you look from one window, you actually see the round earth. You look from the other window, you see the curve of the earth. So it's like, depends on which window you're looking from. You're definitely seeing this beautiful earth, and it is round. That's the first thing I said when I came back. I was very ashamed of myself that I actually had the thought, I wonder if the earth is really round or flat. But who are the they that's trying to fool us? So I realized that, you know what? Don't fall for any and anything that's being said out there. The earth is round, and I saw it for myself.
And I'm sorry, I'm just going to bombard you with questions. Are you able to look and know exactly where you're looking on planet Earth? Is there any way for the astronauts to say, okay, you are now looking at, I don't know, somewhere in Africa, or this is Australia, this is the side that we're on? It seems like a dumb question, and I'm saying it out loud and I feel absolutely stupid, but I'm just curious.
It's actually a very good question. So because of where we were located when we went out, we were over North America. So you definitely pinpoint North America. And when they say there's a bird eye view, that's really true. Because like suddenly it's like you can see everything. You can see all the cuts and the curves, the rivers, and you actually can, like, first when you look at it, you just see it as a whole globe. But then when you start to focus and look in, it's almost like things just start zooming out, and you can just start to identify. I mean, I didn't see houses and that kind of stuff, but I could see rivers. I could see the cuts of the mountains and the different colors. You could see a lot of desert land around as well. So yeah, you can definitely see where you are.
I am just in awe. People always speak about living in the moment and taking time to really appreciate what you've experienced. Listening to you, you're in this elite group of people who have had this experience, and it's an experience that you and your daughter share together, but you're able to share with the world, but in a different way, because while you're describing it to me and my imagination is saying this is what it is.
Yeah.
I've not experienced that, and I don't know if I will do in a lifetime. Have you really come to terms with the fact that this is your life and this is something that you did?
It took me a while to really process what actually happened, especially when we just came back. It was just interview after interview after interview. So not really getting the chance to really sit and really, like, what did I just do? What does this really mean? And not really having, like maybe someone who can say, hey, this is what's happening. This is, so it's like you're learning it for the first time on your own. But now when I look at it, I'm like, wow, I actually did this. I actually did this, and I'm actually sharing this with people, and I'm being very humble with it as well, and very open. And I have not turned anybody down, because I feel like it's not really my duty, but my honor to share this with other people, the experience of what I had. And coming from a non-science background as well, I'm able to just use terms that people can relate to instead of speaking another science language with words
all the jargons and the yes, because science can really be a little bit far removed from the average person.
Yeah.
And so, how long did you spend in space though, Keisha? How long were you on that ship?
On the ship was 1 hour, but in space itself it was about 5 minutes. 5 minutes where I would say we left the atmosphere, and just floating in zero gravity was 5 minutes in zero gravity. And then re-entry happened. The re-entry, well, when you're ready for the description of the re-entry, that's another story. But we can speak about the zero gravity, 5 minutes in
Yes,
zero
please.
gravity.
Like, what is that? What did you get to undo your harness and literally float around like we see? What does
That's
that feel
that's
like?
the part I was really waiting for, because I really wanted to float around in the ship. So the rocket. So the moment that I took my seatbelt off, I just floated up. It was very effortless.
Can
It
you
was
control your movement at that
You
point?
control your
If you
movement. Yeah,
how?
you just move, but it's just that you're not moving with this heaviness on top of you anymore. So like as we're moving now, sometimes you feel tired, you've been walking forever, or you just don't have the energy and you just feel this weight on top of you. Well, you don't have any weight on top of you when you're in space. So you can move your muscles without having that G force on top of you. So you're just completely weightless, almost like you're floating in the ocean. And you
Oh,
just
I
feel
can't float, so I don't
so
even know that
free.
feeling, Keisha.
So you just feel so free. Like even in my eyes, like I feel like the muscle that's holding down the weight on your eyes just floats off. And even the thoughts, like I had absolutely no thoughts. It almost feels like the thoughts come with gravity as well. I didn't feel anything on usually my shoulders are always tense. That was so relaxed. It was like the best feeling in the world. Almost like you had this really nice massage, and the massage just loosened up everything in your body, where your body just feels so light and so free and so present. So that was really, really beautiful. But I didn't take much moments to enjoy the zero gravity because I was so captivated of what's going on outside. So I just wanted to look out the window. And because that 5 minutes passed so quickly, if I was to do it again, I wouldn't focus on the zero gravity either. I would just still focus on looking out the window, because the sun captivated me, the moon captivated me, the earth captivated me, the vastness and the darkness of earth, of the universe captivated me, and just everything that was going on captivated me. I'm like looking at the earth, it's just floating in nothing. It's just
Were you
floating
able
there.
to see any of our planets though?
No, I didn't see any other stars. I didn't see any other planets. I didn't see any spaceships. I didn't see anything else but the sun and the blackness and the earth.
Wow.
Some
That is
others saw the
just
moon because the moon was in sight as well. I personally
Mhm.
didn't see the moon, but the moon was in sight. My daughter saw the moon. The other astronauts saw the moon. But from where I was seated and at the windows that I was looking out, the moon was on the other side, so it was blocked from my view.
I'm just in awe because this is almost it's so transformational. People speak about massive moments in their life, the birth of a child, the death of a loved one, their wedding day, the day that they graduate from university, but this is just absolutely magnificent.
Mhm.
So you do all of that. Is there anything I've missed? Because I'm ready to go to re-entry now. Coming back to getting your feet literally planted on the ground.
So what really surprised me was how the sun looked. Because when we're here on the planet, we see the sun as yellow, this yellow light,
Yes.
very
Mm-hmm.
hot and just really bright. But from in space, it didn't look very bright. It just looked
No?
like a silver light moving across in a straight line, going to the earth, touching the earth. So that was really,
Whoa.
so immediately I went online to research that. And what does that mean?
So what's the temperature then? Because when you speak of the sun, you imagine this immense heat. I mean, it's summer, it's spring in the UK, approaching summer. It is as hot as it can be, or it was the past couple of days. For
So
you
that's,
being in that proximity to the sun, I know you're on the spaceship and its temperature, or the rocket, it's temperature controlled. Are you feeling anything from outside, or is it just totally controlled?
I didn't feel the heat of the sun from inside of the craft. But from what I researched and found out is that our atmosphere is what spreads the light from the sun and the heat from the sun. So when you're out there, there's no atmosphere to control that. So it just shows the intelligence and the wisdom of creation just to give us this life right here on this planet. So that I'm in awe about.
Yeah. Does it make you look at anything differently? So when people speak about global warming, having had that experience, do you see yourself now as a custodian of the earth, or do you marvel at how we do things on earth for not protecting the earth?
I do believe that the earth has its own wisdom. And the earth is so old. It's been here way longer than us. And it probably will continue being here even when we're not here, if and when we're not here. So I think the real issue on our planet is not just protecting Earth, but it's protecting mankind, protecting our future on this planet. And if we want to have a future on this planet, we have to protect the conditions that allows us to have life on this planet. And so when it comes to global warming and all of that, we won't be able to have a life on this planet if it's not livable for us, right? So we have to do what we have to do to protect our livelihood on the planet. So I think it's a lot more than just protecting the planet. It's protecting our livelihood. Because if we really want to protect the planet, the ones who are destroying what's happening on the planet, it's easy for the planet to just do what it has to do, I think, so it can survive. So if we can't just focus on just the survival of the planet, we have to now think the livelihood of ourselves on the planet. So if we protect, if we are mindful of how we are using resources and, like the effects of what we do on this planet, how will it affect the planet, but also how will it affect us for the future? Then that should be what we should be concerning ourselves with, from my experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I very profound, Keisha. I'm probably gonna watch this back when I'm editing and say, okay, yes, I get it. You were speaking about then, so you're there and it's time to come back to Earth. Talk me through what that is like.
So the coming back in now, that in my opinion, the coming in was more uncomfortable than the going out, because the going out, you're just zooming upwards against gravity. But coming down, you're moving with gravity. So you're moving at such speeds as well. And
are you feeling it as well?
And you definitely feel it in your stomach because you're now going, so the stomach is going up as you're going down. But it was not an uncomfortable feeling either. But
can you compare it to anything you've experienced before?
Maybe the roller coaster going down. No, not really. No, because it was very fast, very, very fast. Even bungee jumping. I did bungee jumping the other day, and thinking that the bungee jumping would do something like to me, but it was like nothing.
I mean, you've been to space.
It was slow.
Bungee jumping is
so
but bungee jumping is nothing.
So while I'm jumping from this height and going down, it's like it's really slow. It's almost like a feather going down, where I thought it would have been such a speed. But coming down in the craft, it was such a speed. Not so bungee jumping was like nothing compared to that. But at the same time, it was bearable. But what kind of made it for me a little bit, I got a little bit nauseous from, was that if I had gone back to my seat before it hit 2Gs, then it would have been okay. But I got to my seat by the time it got to 2Gs. So the force already hit me. So I was a little tired from that force, but I got my seatbelt on. Everything was fine. Once you get into your seat, you're okay. But because I was so mesmerized by everything, I'm like, okay, get to your seat. So the moment that they announced to your seat is when I actually moved to my seat, but we're already going on 2Gs. So I felt it. So I popped a little pill in my mouth just to make sure I didn't get sick. And and then we landed very nice. The rockets turned into a glider. After we re-entered the atmosphere. And then it slowed down a bit. We turned into a glider and then glided back to the runway and landed.
You said 2Gs. Before we move on, when you say 2Gs, can you speak about what that is? Because I'm not sure I understand.
That's the speed it was going. So it's like 2 times the speed of sound. So
Okay.
we get to 1G, we get to 2G, then we get to 3Gs, and then 3.5Gs, and then we started gliding after that.
Yeah. And then when you step off that craft, what does it feel like when you're back on Earth? Do you feel a little bit,
Woozy.
woozy, or is it just normal? Because I can't even imagine what planting your feet on the Earth after that experience is like.
So after we re-landed, we took a moment, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes on the craft before coming out. And that's when a doctor came to check on us to make sure we were okay. And then gave us our flight bag where we could, freshen ourselves up a little bit. And then we came off the craft. But if we didn't have that moment to ourselves, I think it could have felt a little bit, because you have the experience from the acceleration. So, you have all those hormones bubbling all over you now from that experience. So we got a chance to settle ourselves a little bit before coming off. But the moment we came off and we started walking, we were like, oh my gosh, I'm touching Earth again. And all within 1 hour.
Wow.
And then we saw families there, and we saw so many people, and they were clapping, and then the mic was in our hands. How was that? And it was just beautiful.
Yeah. And that first night when you put your head on the pillow, does something feel different? Do you sleep like a baby now because you've had the experience? Or do you still have that feeling of excitement? What's that like?
It was the best night's sleep. I was so tired. I actually was really tired even after the flight. I pulled all the strength I could to stay awake for the next few hours, to do the interviews and to do also the pin ceremony, because now you're graduated. Now you're officially an astronaut because you made it to space and back. So they had a ceremony for us where they pinned us, our astronauts pins on our spacesuits, and, said a few words to us, congratulations and all of that. Now you're actually an astronaut, because of the experience that you had. You passed the training. And then I didn't even stay for the rest of the ceremony. I just excused myself and I just went to sleep.
Keisha, when we started this conversation, you spoke about being a mother and your dreams being so tethered to them, so tied into wanting them to realize their dreams, and about the point where you heard that you'd won. You were, for the first time, thinking about you and what you wanted. Mm-hmm. Having experienced this and having seen your dream come to life, and that's powerful, because people dream about less lofty things than space, People dream about becoming the next CEO in their company, which seems so attainable compared to what your dreams were. How does that transform the way you look at life and the way that you live the life that you have?
I definitely see that we can definitely have anything that we actually want in this life. Mm-hmm. And these thoughts and these desires are planted in us for a reason. And I had this desire from since I was 2 years old, probably even earlier than that. But my memory starts from 2 years old. And I've had this inside of me from since then. When other people are scared of it, I'm like, yes, this is possible. We can do this. And I saw that as something that will happen. But society kept saying to me, no, that's not possible. So it shows me, people will say whatever. If something is planted in your heart and you see it as it's a strong desire that you have, that is your agreement with the universe, with the creator, with whatever brought us here. with whatever gave us life. Whatever your faith and belief is, we're not here to convert anybody, but it's there for a reason. And now I can see, trust in that, have faith in that thing that's planted inside of us, and stop doubting. It will come true. It's not for us to figure out how, because I could not figure out how, but it happened, right? And this is why I said I'm lucky, because that's the easiest way for our minds to really understand what happened to me, to just see it as luck and leave it there. There's so many other variations and explanations that could possibly be true, but I felt like the easiest thing was to just leave it to the word luck.
Luck. Yeah.
And other people can put whatever else onto that.
Yeah. And you know what? This podcast is really at the core of it. It's about encouraging people to keep on moving, to not let obstacles stop them from pursuing their dreams. And there are so many people who have dreams and they might have deferred them because they've had to put somebody else's dreams ahead of theirs. Or they might have forgotten them because life is just here and they've gotten so accustomed to the mundane. Or they might just think this is not attainable. I can't do it. What would you say to the person who's sitting there and they've forgotten about those dreams, or they're no longer dreaming or going after those dreams?
It's time to wake up, because it's possible for you. To stop dreaming, stop putting yourself in that place where it's just a dream, because it's not really a dream, it's a vision. Start seeing your dreams as visions, because that's what it is. It's something to show you what is possible and what is coming. And to get yourself up, start preparing yourself, clearing away the blockages, the traumas, start healing yourself from all of these things, the things that will hold you back, the obstacles, the I can't and I can, change it to I can. Start reframing your words, because your words are very powerful. Your thoughts are very powerful. There's no one to blame for anything out there, not even yourself. Stop blaming other people and start taking action. Start fixing what needs to be fixed inside yourself. Become your own carpenter, your own fixer. And just start healing, because that's what I did. I can only tell you what worked for me. I started healing myself. I stopped the negative self-talk. I stopped the blaming. I started forgiving myself, started forgiving others, started loving myself completely and truly, knowing that I am worthy, I'm deserving, I can, I will, having faith that there is something greater that brought us all here, and it's taking care of all of us. Life is such a miracle in itself. Why do we think that the miracles end just at life? It continues every day. Every moment in our life is a miracle. Every breath that we take is a miracle, and the miracle is still working within us. We're all interconnected. And, it's not just about us too, it's about all of us. Be very inclusive, because all of us are here to live what we came to do and to keep inspiring. And stop being afraid to share your story, because the more you share your story, the more you heal. There's a power in that. There's a power in community, in unifying and coming together.
Keisha, you have touched me so profoundly with those words, and I have every confidence that anybody who listens to this interview or watches it on YouTube, however you tune into How Did You Get There, they will get something to push them towards whatever it is that they're striving for. When we were planning for this, I just want to say before we close, I had so many questions because I really wanted to delve into you. And I think there's a part 2 here. So I'd love to invite you back for part 2, because we've covered space, but what I see, because for those who are listening, we're on a video call, all right? So you can watch this on YouTube as well. But what I see in front of me is somebody who is so self-aware and who's done that work. And I'd love to explore how you got to where you are right now in terms of that self-awareness. And you keep speaking about those blockages that you move. I'd love to dive into those blockages and how you cleared them to get to this place. And when I say get to this place, I say it with a consciousness that we're ever evolving. Yes. And that as humans, this isn't the place that we are, is not where we'll stay.
No,
but
never.
I'd love to have that. So Keisha, before you go, if people want to continue connecting with you, how do they do that?
There's always my Instagram. I'm very active on my Instagram.
That
Maybe
you
a little
are.
too, maybe a little too active.
No, because that's how I came across you. So don't say that. This connection happened because of Instagram. So no, we're not going to say that.
And I always answer the messages on Instagram. Maybe not right away, but I do.
That
So
you
just
do.
follow.
That you do.
So just follow me on Instagram. My name, my full name. Once you put my name, then people will get it. Keisha Schahaff. I just keep my name on everything because now my name is international. You definitely Google me. You'll find me on the Instagram. You'll find me on the Facebook. The TikTok is like my playground. I like to play around on TikTok.
Okay then.
And I have my my website as well, which is keishaschahaff.com. And you'll get me right there and I will respond to you. For coaching, I have 12-week courses where we work on transformation. We work on the five big top areas of your life when it comes to relationship, when it comes to money, when it comes to career, when it comes to your calling, because that's a little different from your career, and when it comes to your connection to your higher self. So we work on all of that and shifting diets as well, shifting habits, because your habits is your number one foundation towards your success. If you're not where you want to be right now in life, what are your habits? What can you shift in your habits that can get you there? So whatever you're doing right now, it has to be towards what you want to gain inside of your life. But also gratitude is also another, it's like the fuel to raise your vibration that will pull in more good fortune inside of your life.
That's speaking to me. You know what, Keisha, I could sit here with you for hours, but as I said, I'd love to have you again. I know you're very busy. Happy belated birthday, by the way. I'm not going to sing. I love singing, but I'm not going to sing. Happy belated birthday and happy 1-year anniversary. Lots of celebrations. And I believe in celebrating everything that you can celebrate. So happy belated birthday. Thank you so very much for connecting with us. From myself, Phoebe, and from Keisha, thank you for tuning in to How Did You Get There, the podcast. As Keisha said, she's on every platform. Follow her, support her, share this story because there's something really powerful here. Share the podcast because it's all about inspiring, and each one brings one on the journey, shares the story. And while I'm at it, if you know of any guests who you would want to hear from, because I'm guessing that people, if you're listening, people who've got inspirational stories and whose stories has, it might have the power to transform, then get in touch with me. I am also on Instagram at hdygt.pod. Thank you, Keisha. Thanks to everyone who's listening or watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know what time it is when you're watching, but